Hello, this is G. Bailey, and welcome back to Let's Play Bravely Default! Since last time, I wanted to come back here to get this little part of the map. Thank you for reminding me, viewers. But yeah, I went outside to save so that I wouldn't lose my progress from last time, but also I've disabled the encounter rate temporarily, so that way I don't become more over-leveled than I already am. Well, I'm not over-leveled for the dungeon, but still, I figured let's just pick up where I left off, although there was the little bit of the map there, so I figured I'd show that. Okay, and now let's re-enable the... Oh, no, not that! Oh, that could have been bad. Yeah, just leave it normal. I didn't go back to heal up, so it's as though I just continued from where we left off last time. So, let's continue through Vampire Castle. Also, after that last battle there, ring a bell and a dia. Finish the leveling on those new job classes that I wanted. So now we've got physical attack 10% up there. That'll be really useful for us coming up. And let's see, now I want to make Ring a Bell into a pirate, so that way he can work on physical attack 20% up there, just like Adia has. But let's see, as far as abilities go, what do we got? I would like to, make Adia back into a monk, where I would use acrobatics, but we need the elemental damage from medication to deal with these guys. So I think I'm just going to leave the abilities alone. Just switch up the job classes a little bit there. But yeah, I've done everything I care to do with the dia there as far as those abilities go. And yeah, we'll just leave that alone. As far as equipment goes, let's see. Yeah, you are not very good with staves there. Let me see. We do have another giant axe, and yeah, pirates have S-rank weapon proficiency with those, so that's pretty nice. So yeah, let's put that to use with the the Crescent Moon there to deal with large groups of enemies. And Dia's stats are, or what do you mean? I was thinking about her agility. Yeah, our agility is pretty good. I think I'll just leave all that alone. Although I should probably heal up because Adia has quite a bit more HP as a monk there. But otherwise, I think we're good to keep going. But yeah, I still want to master the monk job class for Adia, mostly for the stat boosts that you get per job level. The ability you get for mastering the monk job class is also pretty good. I don't use it all the time, but every now and then it has its uses. It's really powerful, but only in certain circumstances. Now, it's at about this point in the castle where you're going to start running into mixed groups of enemies. And that can be a problem if you run into Cerberus, because they're not weak to wind like the other enemies. But here we get another set of Hyper Bracers. Awesome. So what I would do is I would still use the Arctic Wind compounding against them because, well, Cerberus has more HP and they're more annoying to deal with because of their counterattacks. So you want to watch out for that.
Look!
Another painting! I can't believe it!
Such fierce flames.
Didn't we see that before?
Though I wish not to remember that day, it is indelibly etched upon my mind.
Didn't we already talk about that, though?
How did you survive?
Well, he's immortal.
The Orthodoxy lay siege yet would accept no surrender. My mother, father, relatives, and my people lay dead. It was then I set our castle ablaze.
Oh, like a scorched earth policy or something?
But as the flames began to lick my body, something slipped into me. Betrayed by the precepts I believed in, was I not bitter? Robbed of my beloved homeland, my dearest of kin, my people, slain.
Well, yeah, that would be a pretty good reason to be bitter, to put it nicely.
Amid such despair, was I content to simply welcome death?
Well, you set your own castle on fire.
Nay, I heard a voice. Accept me, and I shall grant life everlasting, though it shall be filled with grief, thou shalt have all eternity to wreak vengeance upon thine enemies.
Sounds like a pretty good deal. I guess you weren't immortal before then, huh?
Did I forge a dark pact with some fiendish entity that day? Or was it a rebirth, triggered by a future me, reaching back to the past?
I don't think they ever explain that part, at least not in this game.
Panicked upon failing to find my body, the Orthodoxy chose to denounce my family and me as ghoulish vampires.
That seems oddly specific.
Thus have I been living an immortal existence ever since.
But I guess you are a vampire, so...
Then the name Vampire Castle is...
A lie that has been perpetrated by the Orthodoxy for some 2,400 years.
But you are a vampire, aren't you?
Though it is true I am immortal, I am no vampire.
Oh.
I find the smell of blood too revolting to ever drink it. Having said that, I have done naught to quell the rumors. In truth, I endeavored to embellish them.
Well, you can turn into a bat, and, I guess that's about the only vampire thing you can do, huh?
My ability to transform myself into a bat and grow these fangs are the fruits of many years. Long, long years of effort. Tell me, O Vestal of the Wind, what does the Crystal Orthodoxy have to say about the passing of the first Grand Patriarch?
Well, he died, evidently, at some point.
He chose the second Grand Patriarch and prayed for peace and the well-being of the faithful as he passed peacefully from this world.
So, what really happened?
Passed peacefully from this world, you say? I know the truth to be far different.
Well, what happened?
What do you mean?
The first Grand Patriarch was assassinated, along with his Archbishop, the man who had been my bane.
Hey, alright. Kick ass.
The assassin himself tells you this. There is no other truth. That was when I forsook this land. Soon after, sightings of the vampire Lord DeRosso began to crop up throughout the world.
So, if you killed their leaders, why is the Orthodoxy still around, then?
I became a veritable Duke of Darkness, forging ties with those bearing hatred toward the Orthodoxy, and those it had oppressed.
Oh, well, I suppose there's more than just the leaders.
I was the enemy of man, the hated and feared vampire. But more than that, I was known as the arch-enemy of the Orthodoxy. And after some 500 years, a fateful encounter with one whom you all know well.
You're not gonna tell us, are you?
No. Let us leave the matter for another time.
Yeah, I've played this JRPG before. Okay, never mind then. Carry on. Well, let us carry on through Vampire Castle. There's only 7 floors to this place, so, well, we're getting there. We're working on it. Let's see. We want to take the right path down first, if I recall correctly. Hey, alright. I forget what those do. And there was like some dwarven thing that we got too. I think that it boosts dexterity or something. Okay, let's see. This one... Oh, it's the white magic equivalent of the Soul of Thamasa. So that's pretty nice. At least they didn't translate it as Samantha Soul this time around. Let's see. Yeah, that increases dexterity. That deals with, like, your hit rate and, I think, first strike rate or something or other. What does that do? Nope, wrong stat. Okay, let's see. Oh, well, okay, your brave attack rate. I think that's, like, when you get, like, 1 BP for your whole party at the start of battle or something or other. I really don't worry about it because missing with physical attacks is pretty rare in this game. Thank God. But alright, yeah, let's heal up. We all gained a level there on the way here. Man, we just gained job levels in this dungeon like mad! Yeah, they give a lot of JP, but they are very tough. I would not recommend using this dungeon for grinding, even though the enemies give a lot of JP. Otherwise, if you really do want to do a lot more job of grinding, I would recommend waiting until the next chapter. It'll become immensely easier then. But I only wanted to do a little grinding there. Let's see, we got a Lamia's Tiara there. Let's see. Oh, Charm Protection. That'll be very useful for us. I'm not going to use it right now, but, well, soon enough. Soon enough. Actually, you know, let's give that to Tiz right now, because if I get ambushed, it would be nice to have someone who's immune to both Charm and Confusion, not to mention I've got the shoes to make up for the loss of agility from the red cap there. Although so far I've been doing pretty good in avoiding ambushes, unusually. Alright, and after that battle, let's see, we got the last job level there for Ring a Bell. So we're done with Pirate there, so let's make him back into, where are ya? The Spell Fencer. I want to finish that one off. It actually does have a pretty good ability for mastering the job class, though I don't personally make use of it, but I have in previous test runs there. But, okay, so let's see. Let's keep you on Acrobatics, and yeah, I'll just leave that alone there. But I do want to give you a different weapon. Let's see, probably the Rune Blade. Let's see, how much more powerful are these ones? Not that much, but, you know, I think I'll go with the Blood Blade, because I can't really use the elemental weakness, except against, like, Cerberus there or something. But, yeah, the Blood Blade is probably the way to go for the, what is it? For the extra attack power. Yeah, I'm surprised Anya's can hold a conversation with Lord DeRosso about the Orthodoxy.
A battlefield landscape?
I mean, he's telling a completely different version of events. I would think Agnes would think he's lying.
It represents the long and hard-fought war between the Orthodoxy and we denizens of darkness.
Well, it doesn't look like anyone won.
For 500 years, my thirst for vengeance remained unsated.
500? Holy cow!
It had also been 500 years since the Orthodoxy had been founded. The world was in the midst of an age of compared to the great exchange of ideas and information, the once hallowed Orthodoxy began to lose its luster.
He was saying seafaring and piracy before. Sorry, I went through that a little quickly there.
The authority of the Grand Patriarch and the Orthodoxy itself began to wane.
Oh, really?
Fearing irrelevancy, the Grand Patriarchy acted rashly to regain its authority.
Well, what did he do? I thought they already controlled the whole world, practically.
This led to the unusual decision to select a commoner, the gifted young Yulyana, for an important task.
Oh, is that the guy you were talking about?
Yulyana? Sage Yulyana?
Yes, indeed. At age 20, the young Yulyana became High Inquisitor of the Crystal Orthodoxy.
Well, let's see, 500, 2400, so that's 1900 years ago! How many immortals do we got in this game, anyhow?
It's hard to believe he ever was young.
It was no laughing matter, for there was no one more skilled at rooting out enemies of the faith than he.
Whoa.
The shadowy ones, those who had been working against the Orthodoxy, were crushed by the host he led. In the several decades that saw him age, I cannot count the number of times we have crossed swords, he and I.
Then why do you both work for Eternia, then?
In the great battle waged on the Karka Plain, the might of our clashing forces rent the very earth into a vast rift.
Yeah, I think we saw that. That was in the Eisenberg continent.
You mean the rift under Eisen Bridge?
Or that part of it, yeah.
In the battle at the foot of Mount Fragmentum, our armies smoked the mountain to its very roots.
Well, it's still kind of there.
So that's how that ravine was created.
And in the battle fought on the Harina Plain, the once fertile earth was reduced to desolation.
Man, we don't really have that much fertile land in this game, do we? Reminds me of another game.
The loss of that fertile plain is believed to have ushered in the downfall of the Harina dynasty.
Yeah, they didn't really call that much Harina around there other than the continent and the ruins. There's Anchime now instead.
To think any sort of battle could change the face of the Earth so.
We fought our final battle 1800 years ago on the Norende Heights in the land of Kaldisla.
The Norende Heights? That's where the Great Chasm opened up!
Oh.
In the end, Yulyana, High Inquisitor of the Crystal Orthodoxy, utterly defeated me. Lord DeRosso, leader of the Shadows.
But you're still here.
You were defeated? But you're here with us today.
Yes, well, there was more to that final battle than meets the eye.
More than meets the eye.
You see, I ceded the glory of victory to young Yulyana that day. I say young in my reckoning, for he was already 100 then.
Whoa!
Yulyana returned triumphantly to Eternia with what he claimed to be my remains. What he brought them was not human.
So how has he been around for so long?
And when the Templar attacked the head temple 15 years past, it is said they found my tomb deep underground.
I don't think they ever explain how he's so old, or lived so long. I mean, Lester's immortal, obviously.
Ever dreading the darkness and my return, the Orthodoxy kept those duplicitous remains under arcane seal for over 1,000 years.
Whoa. Holy cow!
'Tis a tale replete with irony, is it not?
So, what? You just gave up? You're not gonna tell us, are you? Starting to see a pattern here. No wonder you work with Eternia. No one likes to explain things around here. How are we doing on the job leveling, anyway? Let's see. Anyas and Tiz have got to be getting close. Oh yeah, we're getting there. We'll probably finish it off before or about when I get to the top of the place. I hope. We could use the help. Oh, a treasure! Alright, and after that battle, we gained the job level for Edea. She's mastered the monk job class. Ooh, mega elixir that I'll never use. But it's there. But yeah, she mastered the job class, and that's pretty much all I really care to work on with her. So I'm just gonna leave her there to take advantage of the stats. Now, we're almost done with all the job classes. Or most of them. Alright, we finished up the Spell Fencer job class for Ring a Bell. Just in time, too. Yeah, let's take a quick look at what we got out of those job classes for them. Let's see. Phantom Weapon. Yeah, that adds your attack power from your weapon to magic damage. It is obscenely good. Probably the best way to boost magical damage, even more than, what was that? Pierce magic defense from Anyas there. But I don't actually use this one because of the job classes I've been using. And with Monk, we got Natural Talent, where if you remove all of your equipment, just like Final Fantasy I, you get a massive boost to your physical attack power there. And Monk already has a pretty good, physical attack stat, not to mention they can deal a lot of damage with just their bare fists without equipping a weapon. So that's pretty nice. Or you could mix Natural Talent with Knuckle Lore, and even though that's supposed to be for just the Knuckle weapon type, it still works if you have no weapons equipped at all. So that's pretty nice, too. But alright, let's check out the next painting, shall we?
That is Sage Yulyana.
Oh, really? Why would he have a painting of him? That's weird.
Yes, indeed. No one would mistake such a man for young now.
He hasn't aged that much in the past 2 millennia, almost.
Having put down the blood-sucking Lord DeRosso, bane of the Crystal Orthodoxy, he became the first ever commoner to become an archbishop.
Oh, wow.
Perhaps it was a small honor they threw his way, for he was already 101 years old and would not long count among the living.
Well, he's still living.
That makes it sound despicable.
What do you mean?
Agreed. The truth is, however, that was when Yulyana's plot was at its most clever.
What plot?
The sage's plot? What was he plotting?
He was taking measures to separate you Vestals and the faithful among the people from the Orthodoxy's corruption.
Oh, really?
After serving some 80 years, he had witnessed firsthand how corrupt the institution had become. Should nothing be done, it would not be long before the putrid poison would do harm to the most innocent of the faith.
Nuts.
So it was he vowed to rid the Orthodoxy of the source of this poison, the concentration of power.
But we tried doing that before, and they just took over the crystals anyway.
But how?
And besides, they still control the crystals. Until the game started here, practically.
For the great feat of defeating me, Yulyana had been made Archbishop, but in name only. But such was not key to his plot. Timing was the key. The proper time to separate the Vestals and the faithful from the Orthodoxy.
And just what timing would that be?
Yeah, I mean, you've had millennia to get on with it.
The great upthrust of the Eternian Highlands. At the time, the Highlands were not so formidable as they are today.
Is that something with the Earth Crystal?
But a colossal movement of earth and rock thrust the Highlands to lofty heights, thereby isolating Eternia from the world.
But they have airships.
Hold on a moment. He was waiting for the Earth to move? How could he have known when such an event would take place?
That was going to be my next question.
I shall tell you in time. For now, I will say this. Yulyana bided his time till the Orthodoxy was cut off from the world.
You're not going to tell us, are you?
And at last, it happened.
Ah.
The Highlands ringing Eternia did thrust up to about half its height today.
And what does that mean?
The Orthodoxy-ruled Eternia now found itself completely isolated, for this was an age preceding the airship.
Oh, okay. Well, couldn't they just take parachutes down?
And while the Earth Crystal remained in their keep, control of the crystals of fire, water, and wind was returned to their respective temples.
Well, I thought that's what they were doing to begin with.
This, what you believe to be the true form of crystalism, is the fruit of Yulyana's efforts.
Oh, okay.
That was the sage's doing? I won't ever call him a miserable old lech again.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Sage.
I don't believe that for a minute, Adia. Well, good for the sage. But alright, we're done here. Hey, it seems like these floors are getting shorter. But, okay, let's keep on going then. Last floor. Oh man, we're getting really close to finishing off Freelancer there. And then we'll finally be done! Whew.
What is that glowing jewel-like object? I could swear I've seen something like that before.
Kind of strange to have the painting here instead of on the top of the floor like all the others.
I believe you have seen a similar sight countless times. It is known as an asterisk.
Oh, really?
An asterisk? As in those objects we possess?
Yes, indeed. The second stage in Yulyana's plot against the Orthodoxy's authority was to deprive them of the power to grant vocations.
Oh, you mean like Dragon Quest?
Grant vocations? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Before Yulyana intervened, special approval was required to change vocations within the Crystal Orthodoxy.
Ah.
In this way, the institution grew rich through fat profits they called alms.
Oh, so the Orthodoxy cornered the job market and the fees to participate therein?
That's...
In layman's terms, yes. But Yulyana exposed this fact before the reigning Grand Patriarch.
What do you mean?
It was then that Yulyana approached panicked high officials and the Grand Patriarch himself with a proposal of pure genius. He showed them a stone known as an Asterisk, saying the granting of vocation should be based on it, overseen by the Orthodoxy.
Isn't that the way it's always been?
Those who sought such vocations would apply to the Orthodoxy and pay a fair price. Anyone with the means to pay could thus learn a new job.
Wouldn't that be good for the Orthodoxy, though?
That's no different from the old system where people had to pay alms.
Yeah.
No different indeed. But the Grand Patriarch and his officials had not but the material profits of the Orthodoxy in mind.
Okay.
Hence, they accepted Yulyana's proposal without question, even appointing him to the important position of overseeing the new Asterisk system.
I fail to see how that really changed anything.
Yeah.
Well, it did far more than you would guess, for he was the only one who knew how to make the Asterisk stones.
But he's in charge of the Orthodoxy.
Why, that wily old fox?
So it was Yulyana robbed the Orthodoxy of its authority to grant jobs and took it for himself.
What of the Orthodoxy's profits? Wouldn't they demand Yulyana transfer the proceeds to their coffers?
I thought that was the whole point.
Yulyana was long gone. Abandoning the seat of Archbishop, he fled with his knowledge of the Asterisk craft. He also took arms and armor the Orthodoxy had seized from around the world. Items of such power that their use was forbidden.
Remember that for later, viewers.
He took them all and sealed them away in a hidden location.
You're not going to tell us where that is, are you?
They now lie secreted away against the day the Orthodoxy's tyranny or some other impending doom threatens the people.
Well, we're there!
He then hid himself in Yulyana woods until those who knew him reached the end of their natural lives.
Well, that would seem like a real easy place to find him. The woods named after yourself. I mean, that would be like naming your kid Luke Skywalker and hoping Darth Vader doesn't find you.
But that did not take long, for I led the forces of the shadows to ensure their swift demise. I had always believed the Crystal Orthodoxy required not but the crystals, the Vestals, and the faithful.
Well, that's kind of where we are now.
With the institution free of corruption, I returned to my homeland of Eternia after a 700-year absence.
I was going to say, how did you get there? But yeah, you can just turn into a bat and fly.
Where my family's castle once stood, I built a fortress of ice from whence I have been watching over the Orthodoxy's head temple.
Doesn't really look like it's made out of ice, but I'll take your word for it.
Meanwhile, Yulyana retired to that land to tend to the Vestals. But you know of that better than I.
Oh, okay.
Say, Yulyana.
Well, what a crafty fox there. Alright, and after that battle, we finally mastered the Freelancer job class. And we got a new rod. It's a little more powerful than the poison rod as far as the magic attack stat goes. But alright, let's see what we got here. So yeah, for mastering Freelancer, we get the Mimic command. And it lets you copy whatever the previous action was, which, in this case, I only use his own actions for that. Although, I would assume you could mimic other characters' actions. Not that I would want to do that, but it's there, and you can do it for free! So, yeah, abilities like, what was the one there? Yeah, Godspeed Strike there. You can mimic, and it costs no BP. It is obscenely good, especially at this point in the game. What is what is Lester DeRosso, or Lord DeRosso, have to say about the final painting in his castle. Find out next time on Let's Play Bravely Default. This is H.G. Bailey, signing off. Have a good day.